Oh, yeah, we are live from the very top of the Funky Uncle Lounge. It's the only way we know how to do it up here at the Funky Uncle, and we wouldn't want it any other way. My name is Soul Stew. This is a little segment we like to call Sitting In with Soul Stew, while I sit down here with all these fine musicians and have a little chat, get to know them better, see what's inspired these songs, see what kind of legends they have. And the band that played tonight is has no shortage of legends. They've been doing this for a ridiculously long time. Mr. Bill Davis, you might get mad if I tell you how long he's been doing it, but he's been doing this as long as I've been alive, but yet he doesn't look that much older than me. So, Bill, I'm here to ask you a very important question, and that is sex, drugs, and rock and roll. If it doesn't kill you at 27, it just keeps you young forever. Am I right?
It is. I mean, that's pretty much the history of our band, except that we're from New Orleans, and I don't know. I mean, Sex and Drugs and Rock and Roll was a song written by Ian Dury of Stiff Records fame. So yeah. I don't know. That's what every band aspires to, I think, is to have a wild rock and roll lifestyle. So I'm proud to have done that.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like it's worked out pretty well for you, my man. You're still at it after all these years, and that's beautiful.
You know, I can't stop. It's too much fun. I cannot stop playing rock and roll. It's too much enjoyment. Just too exciting. So I'm still in it.
I love it. Well, of course, Dash Brick Rock has been your baby from the beginning, right? That this band you started way back in the day. These are all mostly your originals, if I'm correct, right? Other than the covers that you threw in, but primary songwriter, but you've also produced a lot of other bands as well. But this has kind of been your project, your baby for all these years, right? So can you talk about
has. I mean, but there have been some people who have passed through Dash Rip Rock in the years that have contributed some amazing, cool songs to our band. So, nice. But I am sort of the primary songwriter and singer of the band. So I don't know That's why I sustain Dash Rip Rock, because I love our catalog, and I love what we sort of live for, which is just being a really cool, explosive rock and roll band from Louisiana.
Yes, I love it, man. Y'all do that. Y'all do that right too.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was actually reading about some of your influences, and I love the depth of the diversity of all the players who inspired you. You said, obviously you ripped the hell out of a Telecaster. You said Danny Gatton was one of your main influences over the years. And did you say you either knew him or you worked with someone who was very close to Danny?
Well, I mean, when I began playing guitar with Dash Rip Rock, there were some musicians that were based in Austin and Washington, D.C. that were like these monster punk rock Telecaster players, and Danny Gatton was one of them. Evan Johns was one of them. There's some guitar players out there that just blew my mind when I started playing back in the 80s, and that's it. But I mean, the truth about Dash Rip Rock is we're inspired by punkabilly bands like the Cramps and Reverend Horton Heat and
shout out to the Rev,
Leroy Brothers, and then we're we sort of can sort of slot ourselves into Americana. We are just we love country music, we love punk rock music, and we love rockabilly, and we just kind of try to blend it all together.
I like that. And, it seems contrary to the belief of some musicians I find in this town, I, for one, believe that it is possible and okay and legal to be a musician in the state of Louisiana and the state of New Orleans and not play Hey Pocky Way. And it seems like you kind of believe that too. So thank you for that. I mean, hopefully I'm not wrong. Maybe we cut your set short. You're about to encore with it, but I didn't hear a Hey Pocky Way coming tonight.
Well, I mean,
not to hate it. We love the Meters more than anything. And I'll hear George Porter sing it till the day I die. But
I love being the cousins of the Meters and the Neville Brothers. And I love being the New Orleans, cousins of those guys. I mean, we play
that spin on it without having the cover.
Exactly. I mean, we play music that is it was founded in the South, and I mean, it doesn't have a lot of funky roots, but we love rockabilly, and we love punk rock mostly, and we love the energy of people like Guitar Slim and Ernie Cato, and some of the bands that came out, Little Richard especially.
Of course.
I mean, bands that were recorded in New Orleans that had a real heavy punk rock country influence, and it was called rockabilly back in the day in the 50s, and now we've sort of like blended it into our music. But I think New Orleans has a whole nother scene other than funk, and what it is like cool 50s aggressive, energetic rock and roll. And it came from Little Richard. Yeah. It came from, it came from cool bands like Eddie Bow. And so anyway, I'm just trying to carry the torch of the New Orleans scene that had more energy and aggression, and and it all blends well with the funk.
It does. Totally.
And I mean, I was born and raised here, and I feel like that Little Richard and Cosmo and Alan Toussaint, they all fed into my inspiration.
Of course.
Seriously, yeah.
And then all the baddest punk rockers that I've ever heard of, anyone who knew them well would tell you when they came home, they all listened to New Orleans records. They were listening to Little Richard and Fats and all that. I mean, that's what the original punk rockers lived and breathed themselves. So
Little Richard was. And yeah, he was such a punk rocker. Absolutely. Oh, totally.
He was pumping.
I was with Guitar Slim.
Oh, yeah.
And some other musicians from Louisiana. But and our band we were on a label with the Dead Kennedys with Jello Biafra.
That's what I wanted to ask you about.
And we were on Alternative Tentacles, which is like one of the coolest San Francisco punk labels out there. Ever. And Jello loved New Orleans music, and that's the reason he signed us, because to him, we were sort of a slice of New Orleans, but we had that punk rock energy that Little Richard and Guitar Slim and Ernie Cato brought to that 50s rock and roll that had like serious punk rock energy. I mean, it happened here in New Orleans, but it's not as popular as the laid back funk that is so prominent, but
just as important.
Exactly.
Just as vital. Absolutely. Yeah. And then there was a whole band, I believe it was you guys had a Jello Biafra put together a New Orleans punk R&B band that was the Ranch and Roll All-Stars. You were kind of the band leader of.
I was the band leader. We got Pepper Keenan from Corrosion of Conformity from Down.
Well, yeah, Pep.
And then we had Brian Broussard from Supergroup, Fred LeBlanc from Cowboy Mouth. We had the horns from Egg Yolk Jubilee. We had the horns from I can't remember the name. It was Morning 40. We had the horns from Morning 40. Right. We had one of the coolest bands. Like Jello came to town. He said, "Bill, put together the best band ever." And so we did punk rock version covers of New Orleans songs, and it was released as a record. It's called Jello Biafra and the New Orleans Rock and Soul
Ranch and Roll or something.
I can't remember.
Ranch and Soul. I was reading about it.
But anyway, Jello loves New Orleans, as should everyone.
Cool. Everyone. Every real musician does.
Exactly. And so if it's the Rock and Soul All Stars, it's available on Alternative Tentacles Records, and I have to tell you, it's one of the coolest records ever, and unknown. I mean, it's kind of a uncovered gem, but believe me, when Jello came to town and wanted to make a New Orleans record, it was like one of the most outside, weird punk rock underground things that ever happened. And the people that took part in it were such Bywater undergrounders and such cool punk rockers. So there we go. Yeah, sorry. Too close? Okay, sorry.
Some deep Ninth Ward shit, bro.
It really was amazing. I mean, it's all available. It's all available on a record called Walk on Jindal Splinters.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Which is like of the era. It was like a Bobby Jindal kind of joke. And
shout out to all the creationists out there.
So, I mean, I love it when people come to New Orleans. Like Elvis Costello came to New Orleans and made a record with Ellen Toussaint, and it had such a cool flavor of that British Elvis Costello thing with Toussaint. And then when Jello came to town to make a record, it was like punk rock mayhem, and it was really he teamed up with some really cool people. So happy to be a part of that.
Awesome. Well, before we get here and chat with the other guys, I got to hear one last story. Are the legends true? Is Dash Rip Rock really one of the bands to get banned from the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Festival?
We have, it's kind of a sad story. So prepare yourselves. But anyway, we have been banned from Jazz Fest. We we used to bring our punk rock energy to the Jazz Fest shows, and it was great. We opened for Ani DeFranco, we opened for Fishbone. We had so many great shows at Jazz Fest, and that's when they were attempting to have more energy and more punk rock energy. So anyway, but and eventually, when our drummer took his pants off and put on diapers, and then put a candy bar in his diapers that looked like a big old pile of doo-doo, Quentin Davis said, "That's enough."
I wasn't feeling it. Okay.
So anyway, we really pushed the limits of Jazz Fest, and therefore we are banned. And I mean, that in itself is pretty remarkable.
It is. That's a badge of honor.
Put that on our Wikipedia. We're banned from Jazz Fest.
And to our friends at Jazz Fest, hey, we love you dearly. We were just talking about it. These thoughts only reflect the thoughts of Dash Rick Rock, not the Funky Uncle Lounge. But hey, man, rock and roll. I like that y'all were expressing yourselves. And,
we did. It was a pure moment of rock and roll, and didn't go over with the hierarchy of Jazz Fest, which I completely understand. At this point it makes sense. Back then I was like, why not? It's New Orleans.
Totally.
Yeah.
Things were different back in those days too. But you got a great band playing with you tonight. Tell us, introduce these guys.
These guys are amazing. I mean, these are my friends. They've been with me for several years now, and it's Wade Hemel on drums and Chance Castillo on bass, and they fulfill the whole Dash Rip Rock energy, and they help me sort of sustain the band. So I'm excited to have them with us, and
awesome.
And they have their own concept of rock and roll, and we've always been a trio in Dash Rip Rock, and we've always gotten along no matter who's in the band, and so these guys are freaking awesome. Love them.
Good stuff. And one last thing, how have you been staying sane in these crazy times that we're living in?
With the quarantine, I feel like that we're just writing songs, we're recording songs. I think live music is definitely going to be on hold for so long. I mean, it's pitiful, but that has been the way we've always made a living with Dash Rip Rock. But at this point, we're happy just to write songs, record them, and put them out there on the internet. And I don't know, the internet is keeping everyone together. It's some sort of strange common ground that we can all relate to. And so with Dash Rip Rock, I'm going to continue playing live on the internet with the Funky Uncle. I'm going to continue making records. So hopefully we're all going to get through this and be able to gather in mass again.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Awesome. Bill, thank you for coming in and chatting with us.
Thank you, Stu.
And, all right. Sit up one of your great bandmates.
Let's get the guys back up here.
Bill, it was always a pleasure, my man. And thank you for doing what you do so well. All right, we got the rhythm section in the house. All right, y'all. Say hello. Tell the good people who you are and how you living these days.
How's it going? I'm Chance Castillo. I play bass in Dash Rip Rock.
Chance on the bass.
I'm Wade Hemel. I'm the other guy.
And have you guys played together? Were you playing together before you came with Dash Rip Rock?
Yeah, we played for a couple of years.
Nice.
Yeah, we've been playing together for a while.
Groups.
Nice. And where are you guys based out of here in New Orleans?
Well, we live up on the North Shore, both of us. I'm in
Okay.
Hammond, and he's over in Covington.
Gotcha. And you guys have another band as well outside of this, or is this your main?
We
the
do.
main-
Yeah. It's Borealis Rex, and Bill's involved with that too. And, he helps write some songs. And
Nice. And how'd you guys get hooked up with Bill?
It's kind of a weird story. I started working at a brewery in Covington.
Okay.
And Brian Broussard used to play bass in Dash Rip Rock, and now he plays with Cowboy Mouth.
Gotcha.
And, he needed a bass, he needed a rhythm section, and I needed a gig, and Wade was looking for a gig, so.
And it all just came together like that.
He got the call, and then he called me, and it all just came together pretty quick.
I like it, man.
I think we had about 4 rehearsals, and then we just started playing.
It's great because it sounds like you guys have been playing together for a long time. The way it just gels so well. So it's
Been about 3 years now.
3 years. Nice.
Yeah.
Dig it. Well, how have these local times been affecting y'all? There's a lot going on right now,
It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, man. Y'all doing your best to stay sane.
Yeah.
Yep, staying
Missing-
safe and sane, staying inside as much as possible. Just
Missing playing music live, but.
You guys been writing anything? Working on any other projects?
We got with that group Borealis Rex, we're gonna have an album release in about a week.
So
yeah,
where can
just
people
a few days.
Where can people get the info about this band? Make sure
we're on all the social media.
Say the name one more time because I'm deafer than hell.
Borealis Rex.
Borealis Rex.
Borealis Rex.
Cool. So you guys have a website too, or is it just
yeah.
was it BorealisRex.com?
Yeah, BorealisRex.com.
Nice.
And you know, it'll be on Spotify or on the 15th. And then Threadhead Foundation actually gave us a grant to have it on record, so we will eventually have vinyl of it too. So
nice. Who else is in that band with you?
Wade, Bill, and we got John Garcia's on bass.
Phenomenal bass player.
Yep. Sorry. And John Garcia on bass, and then we got Parker Freeman on fiddle, banjo, guitar. He's kind of a freak of nature.
So is this a little bit more kind of rootsy kind of sound?
Yeah, sort of rootsy blues. I mean, we're all five of us are into very like a wide variety of things, as well as roots music and blues music and rock and roll and stuff like that. So it's quite a melting pot of influences, but all at the same time, the sound is very it's familiar but fresh. So.
Nice. Nice. Good to hear. Good to hear. Man, we appreciate y'all coming in. And anything else you'd like to tell the good people other than check out BorealisRex.com and all their pages? And I mean, I guess before we go, like this is probably one of the few gigs you guys have had other than the backyard gig in a while.
Yeah, they've been few and far between.
It's been great to be able to bring bands in here. So I'm glad you guys can kind of join the number, play live for us tonight.
Yeah, thank you guys so much.
Really appreciate it.
Hosting
Thanks for having us here, y'all. Thanks for all the help y'all have done.
Great to hear. Well, appreciate it. We got Chance and Wade from Dash Rip Rock and the Borealis Rex. Check them out with Dash Rip Rock. Check them out with Borealis Rex. And then stay tuned next week. We'll come back. We got another great show planned for you. In the meantime, wash your hands, stop your feet, funk and resist.
Woo, Funky Uncle.
Peace out.